was just thinking what this landscape would have been like before, when it was wetland. The birds would have had huge spaces. Even in Roman times, I doubt they shored up the sides of the river so well, so it would have flooded dozens of fields. And the birds must have been incredible. Imagine how many different species would turn up. Bird party. Hello. But the agriculture, it is really crude. I mean, this field, I don't know, how well is it going to do? Has it been planted even? I don't know. I think it has. Maybe they've planted grass. See, it's got this. But that's not the same as before. And if we were intelligent about food production and diet and horticulture and agriculture and transport and logistics and mental health and society and all the things that matter, we'd be able to do with much less land. It's only because the agricultural processes are so inefficient that the land is so overworked. And it's the economy, it's the way the demand works, the way you have to be able to afford thousands of pounds to buy a part for your tractor. And that means you've got to charge thousands to people you contract to for what you do. And that means they've got to earn thousands, and so on and so forth. So that the Rockefellers can fund science research. Fucking A. I just caught a bit of Rick and Morty. It looks like an interesting TV program. This is definitely a crop. So I'm wondering if Thomas sent me that so that I could make another video making an ass of myself, just because I'm allergic to writing things on paper, trying to do type inference in my head. But Hindley Milner can type those expressions if you just put in constants into that program I wrote. It's very, very simple to modify. You just put in K and S and fix their types in the initial gamma, and it will type those expressions if they are well typed. It will find the principal type scheme. Principal with an A, Andy Pitts. K has the type alpha to beta to alpha. S has the type, there are two ways of doing S. SPQR, that's easy to remember because it's the Roman thing, isn't it? SPQR applies funct P, this applies the combinator P to Q and the combinator P to R, and then applies the result of that to the result of the application of P to Q. And the type is therefore there's three type variables: alpha, beta, gamma. So it's for all alpha, beta, gamma. Or is it just two? Oh, I can't remember. But if you just code up, if you can't remember what the type, the polymorphic type of S is, what you do is just write it as a lambda expression. Lambda P, lambda Q, lambda R, brackets, PQ, close bracket, brackets, PR, close bracket, and then type that. And the only difference between combinator reduction and lambda reduction is that combinator reduction only reduces things to a weak normal form, because combinator reduction doesn't reduce any of those combinators like SK or I until they are fully applied. And when I was writing my toy lambda calculator, I wanted one to be able to just simply define any old set of combinators using lambda expressions and then do full combinator reduction on them. And eventually, later, after I'd lost it, it occurred to me that you could do this by some sort of continuation type arrangement. What you would do is you'd program the combinators with an evaluator expression which was general, and then just a form of the combinators. Only when they were fully applied would you apply the final evaluator expression. So the evaluate expression has to come last. And then I think it kind of acts like a kind of continuation. Maybe that's what Martin Hyland is talking about.
Big one.
Sorry, am I going the wrong way?
Yeah, sorry man.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I took a wrong turn. Yeah, but then you kind of defer until you can defer indefinitely. You can defer this evaluation. But the type inference will still, I imagine type inference would still stop you from putting a bullshit evaluator into it. I'm very glad I wrote that program. It was all in standard ML, but I used quite a lot of Moscow ML specific stuff because I wanted it to do colorized output, and I wanted it to write sensible things into an Emacs buffer when you run it in as a minor mode. Is it a minor mode? No, it's a mode. That's why I modified Moscow ML so that it would do proper UTF-8 strings and input and output them, and you actually have to make quite a few modifications for that to work properly. You have to modify the pretty printer, you have to modify I noticed the other day I was looking through the repo, and you also have to modify the location.sml code, which tells you the character and the line and character of the errors, and that's what Moscow ML uses to print out type and syntax errors. You have to modify that because it counts UTF-8 extended characters. It loses count of the character position because you've got 3 consecutive octets that only take up one position in terms of characters in the buffer or on the screen, depending on what you call the buffer. It's all syntax. So is that enough of me making an ass of myself? I'm pretty much back in the same place I ended the last one. That came out at exactly 16 minutes. 2 to the 2 to the 2.